Hello everyone, my name is Elite Trainer Kenway and I'm coming to you from my work desk because my tripod broke today as I was getting ready to film this. At Pokemon World over the weekend, the Pokemon Company gave us a new Indigo Disk trailer for the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero, and I believe they gave us a lot of new lore in that trailer, so let's talk about it. The first big thing is that, just like with Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and the Grand Underground, all the starters will now be available to catch at Blueberry Academy in the wild. The main difference here is that the Grand Underground didn't have starter Pokemon until after you defeated the Elite Four, and the fact that starter Pokemon weren't available at all in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum means that we know the starters didn't come from Sinnoh, except for the 3 Sinnoh starters that came from Hisui. For the first time on the Nintendo Switch, we're not only going to have access to all of the starters, but they're all going to be wild and catchable at Blueberry Academy. What's interesting about this is that fans have speculated for years that starter Pokemon were bred specifically to be starter Pokemon in a specific location and then spread all around the world. I myself did a mini theory earlier this year suggesting that starter Pokemon might be genetically engineered. And so here we are, finally getting it revealed to us that the only place that all starter Pokemon can be captured in the wild is in an underwater terrarium at Blueberry Academy. So I think it's safe to say that Blueberry Academy does in fact breed starter Pokemon and send them to all the regions around the world. So that's it, right? Pokemon Company's confirmed that all starter Pokemon are from Paldea, right? Well, I don't think so. You see, there are more lore hints that this trailer dropped than just the one. We know that Blueberry Academy isn't in Paldea, and we know that Blueberry Academy is in an underwater terrarium near the coast of some region. We just don't necessarily know what region that is yet. Most people just assume that it's off the coast of Paldea. Some theorists believe it's off the coast of Unova, tying it to a possible Generation 5 remake/sequel. But me, I believe that Blueberry Academy sits just off the coast of the Alola region. Let me explain. In an earlier trailer for the Indigo Disk, we saw an Alolan Exeggutor, an Alolan Ninetales, and an Alolan Sandshrew, which, I'll be honest, at the time, I didn't really think much of it. I thought it was just their way of giving us the Alolan variants. But then I noticed a few things in the new trailer. The new trailer gave us a sneak peek at the 19th Terra type, which looks suspiciously like Terrapagos' shell. We don't have an official name for this 19th type yet, but fans have already dubbed it the Omni type. Let's circle back to the Omni type in just a moment and instead talk about the animation we see when the Omni type is used in the trailer. We see all 18 existing Terra types circling around a Terra crystal and donning a crown that looks to be made of... Wait, are those Z crystals? Z crystals were said to be created by Ultra Necrozma when it lost its light in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So why are they now showing up at Blueberry Academy, and why are they being used to make up the Omni type's crown? And even more suspiciously, why are they showing up at the same time in the same place that we are now seeing Alolan Pokemon? We got Z crystals in Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and they are never referenced again in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Sword and Shield's DLC, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, Legends Arceus, or Vanilla Scarlet and Violet. Now all of a sudden we're seeing wild Alolan variants again, and we're seeing Z crystals directly related to the Terra crystals. Because no other region anywhere in the Pokemon world we've seen so far has any reference to Z crystals, the only way that this makes sense was that either Terrapagos or Blueberry Academy was somewhere extremely close to Paldea when Necrozma lost its light. Because we don't see Z crystals anywhere else in the Pokemon world. Oh, and if you think I've gone crazy and that's too big of a stretch, let me give you one more small bit of information. This past weekend, it was announced that next year's 2024 Pokemon World Tournament will take place in Hawaii, the real-life inspiration for the Alola region. To me, those are 3 gigantic clues that are all pointing in the same direction. Blueberry Academy is located just off the coast of the Alola region. That not only means that all starter Pokemon are technically Alolan Pokemon, but that also means that what we call regular Raichu is actually an alternate form of Raichu that Pikachu takes when it evolves when not in close proximity to Terrapagos. Because think about it, it never really made any sense that Pikachu gained the Psychic typing when exposed to a Thunderstone just because it was on Alola. But it does make sense that Pikachu will gain a new and unusual typing when evolved within close proximity to Terrapagos and the Omni-type crown. It's not pancakes that cause Pikachu to gain the Psychic typing, it's Terrapagos. That's likely the reason why Exeggutor gets the Dragon typing and why Cubone gets 2 completely different types when it evolves in Alola. It's not because it's in the Alola region, it's because it's near Terrapagos and the Omni-type Terra Crown. There are certain species of Pokemon that, when they evolve near Terrapagos and the Omni Crown, gain a new typing that they don't normally get. Speaking of Terrapagos, The Omni Terra type that we set aside earlier, now it's time to bring that back and talk about it. Everyone who saw the trailer is wondering and theorizing about what the Omni type is and what makes it special. Some people think it's going to be super effective against all 18 types. Some people think it's going to be just regularly effective against all 18 types. And that some people think it's only available to Mightiest Marked Pokemon, but we know that's not true because in the trailer we see Excalibur using it. I'm convinced that not only do I know what the Omni Terra type is, I actually predicted it nearly a year ago. Take a look. I think it may be the biggest missed opportunity in the game, especially on a competitive level. Now, you're going to have to stay with me on this one for just a moment, but how cool would it have been to have a single Pokemon in Paldea whose ability allowed it to hide its Terra type? Now, in the anime, we know that there's a Crystal Onix who basically looks like a terrestrialized Onix. Now, imagine if there was a Pokemon in Paldea whose hidden ability made it look like the Crystal Onix. Imagine if you had a Pokemon you could terrestrialize, and your opponent would have no idea what its Terra type was until 1, 2, or even possibly 3 turns later. That Pokemon would be an instant hit with competitive players. And honestly, if they don't include a Pokemon with this hidden ability in what's obviously going to be an upcoming DLC, probably next year, that's going to be their biggest missed opportunity in my opinion. That was a clip from a video titled How to Fix Pokemon Scarlet and Violet that I made back in December of last year. And the focus of that video was pointing out Scarlet and Violet's missed opportunities. I think that's exactly what this Omni type is going to be. Terrestrialization is all about changing your Pokemon's type both mechanically and physically, but if the Omni type looks like all 18 types put together, then it's impossible for you to know what your opponent's Terra type is when it uses the Omni type. The Omni Terra type is not going to be a new Terra type like Sound or Cosmic or whatever. It's literally going to be hiding your Terra type from your opponent. And if I'm correct, this is going to be absolutely massive for the competitive scene, which is why it was showcased first at Pokemon Worlds. Save a link to this video, quote me on Twitter, quote me wherever. I'm telling you guys, the whole point of the Omni Terra type is specifically to hide your Terra type from your opponent. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Come back this Saturday where we're doing the Fixing the National Dex series. I think Kalos is coming up next. Come back next Tuesday. We got a new video coming out Tuesday also. In September, we're going to do our channel's first ever giveaway. I'm going to be giving you guys some Pokemon in Cherish Balls. Come back next week and we'll talk about that. I hope you guys have a fantastic week and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.